How y'all doing? I'm the Watchman, and this video right here is I haven't really thought of a title yet because it just came to me to do it. You know, when the Lord speaks to me like that, I go ahead and do it. And but I heard something night before last that was very disturbing, and I'm gonna just get into the meat and potatoes of it. I'm gonna just get to the what I'm talking about is, and I heard an evangelist, a well-known, popular for many years, well-known, written many books. I won't say his name, but I heard this evangelist, this Seventh Adventist evangelist, uh, say he was asked a question about Illuminati. Now he's in a theater full of hundreds, probably a couple thousand people, uh, youth and old alike, and somebody asked him, what about the Illuminati? Should we be focused on the Illuminati or should we take heed to them? And he says, well, go to Ellen White Estate and put in the search engine Illuminati and see how many results you'll get. If you do that, you're gonna get zero results. Now I know that. Back in Ellen White's day, they didn't call it Illuminati, you know, and she didn't call it Illuminati. But I knew that. Now when he said that, I said, immediately I said, oh no, don't what? Because I knew what point he was gonna get at, because I knew it was gonna come up zero. We nowadays call it Illuminati, but Illuminati is made of many different secret societies. Many different secret societies, make up the Illuminati, and it all comes from Jesuits. Jesuits who formed Freemasonry through Adam Weishaupt. Adam Weishaupt was a Jesuit. See, the Jesuits became outlawed in Europe. So in the 1700s, the late 1700s, Adam Weishaupt, who was one of the a leader in the Jesuit army, when the Jesuits were chased out of Europe, Bavaria, I believe the Bavarian Lodge was their last fort, as you could call it. But when they were chased out of Europe, he came over here and he started Freemasonry. But anyway, you have the Jacobites, Skull and Bones. But anyway, the Jesuits started all of these Knights of Malta, Knights of Templars. All of these were started by the Jesuits. So he asks, did she mention anything about Illuminati? And I knew it was gonna be zeros up. And so, and he said, and people were right there with their phones, boop, 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 looking. And so he said, because she didn't mention anything about Illuminati, he doesn't think we should spend our time studying on it, looking at it, dwelling on it. He said because if she didn't say anything about Illuminati, then we shouldn't spend or waste our time dwelling on it. Then he started to make jokes and, yeah, I believe 911 was a inside job. We shouldn't dwell on that stuff, and I'm particular who I listen to, y'all. So when I'm listening to him, and he already raised the red flag a little while ago when I heard something. I'm particular about the teachers of the word that I listen to, and but I'm not gonna say his name. That's why I didn't say his name. But I'm sitting here like, now the job of the Jesuits is they will join any denomination. They will join any Protestant religion or denomination, and their job is to get up in the higher ranks and the levels and take the people's mind and thinking and change it and bring it back to Catholicism. That is the job of the Jesuits, and they are very patient, and no matter what it takes, they will bring it back to Catholicism. And like one man said, I believe, I forget, I don't want to misquote anyone, but he said, behind every war was a Jesuit, because one of their standards is, one of their beliefs is, out of chaos, what he say, out of chaos can come control. I'm paraphrasing now because the saying just hit me. Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. So they will create chaos so that another order so their order could come in and bring control and justice. But anyway, back to this evangelist, y'all. And that's when it really hit me that this is on a high level because he is very popular, written many books, y'all, and very popular. So the stadium was just packed with several thousand people, and he tells these people, okay, because she didn't mention the word Illuminati. And I knew when he said that because I knew personally that Illuminati is not going to be mentioned. You know, we use the word Illuminati, you know, nowadays. But they didn't use that in their day to describe the secret societies. So that's why I made this video. I'm going to get to it and stop complaining about, you know, what I heard. But that's what prompted this video. Because the truth be known, fellow Adventists. The truth be known. You know, that's why we have to be weary, even who we listen to, even in our own ranks. Because, of course, who is the devil going to attack? You know, the devil is going to come at any group of people holding the truth. You know, he's going to attack those who hold the truth. You know, so it isn't surprising to me that we have people in our ranks who will teach falsities. Like I said in an earlier video about the great hope, which come to find out, which a great friend told me. Let's just say a great sister in the Lord, good friend of mine. You know, let's just say I'm lost in Testopia, but like she told me, watch one of the New Age spiritualist terms that they love to use is the great hope, the ancient hope. So them taking the great controversy and then even giving it the title the great hope started not to look so surprising to me as far as the title that they chose. You know, who knew that title has New Age significance, that they've been looking for this ancient hope, you know, of the so-called Maitreya for years. But anyway, back to what this evangelist and other Adventists teach, that Ellen White did not mention the Illuminati. I disagree. Now let's go to the proof. Proof is in the pudding. And before I read to y'all what I'm about to show y'all, I'm gonna just show you that I'm reading straight off of the computer screen. I went to E.G. White Estate. Let me see. I don't know if y'all can see that that's E.G. White Estate. You might be able to see it over there in the corner. But anyway, I'm reading right off E.G. White Estate. And like I always say, the truth loves investigation. So do it yourself. But this is the reason why you can Google and Seventh-day Adventists online and you get so much hatred and foul talking and we're cult, we're pagan worshipers, all that, you know, because one of the only people to ever tell the history of the Illuminati. Y'all have to realize Ellen G. White told the history of the Illuminati in the book The Great Controversy. First place I ever heard of a Jesuit was in The Great Controversy. Ellen G. White, y'all. And so it's a must I share. So anyway, so all I did was go to E.G. White Estates, and I'm about to read some things that she said too. But anyway, 16 times she mentions the word Jesuits. 16 times she mentions the word Jesuits. Now remember, they founded the Illuminati and all the different sects of the secret societies. You know, society wants you, the world will have you believe that all these different little groups and secret societies aren't together, but really they are together. Just different pieces of the body can reach different places. But anyway, 16 different times she mentions the word Jesuits. 5 different times she mentions freemasons. 60 different times she mentions secret societies. The word secret societies. 60. And he had the nerve to stand up in front of thousands and just say, Google, put in the search engine Illuminati. And I said, come on. I want to say his name, but I ain't gonna. I said, come on. Even I know they didn't use the word Illuminati back then. Anyway, 60 different times she mentions the word secret societies. 10 times she mentions the word free and masons, you know, not as one word. When I said it before, 5 times she mentions the word Freemasons as one word. 10 different times she mentions the word free space Masons, talking about Freemasons. 15 different times she mentions the word Freemasonry, for a total of 106 different times where she's talking about the Illuminati. Because these groups make up the Illuminati. You know, there's other ones, like I said, the Jacobites, you know, Knights of the Templar, Knights of Malta, Skull and Crossbones, but she just calls them secret societies. You see, she got 60 different results for secret societies. If I know this, why would he intentionally just say, look up the word Illuminati? Why didn't he say, put secret societies in the search engine? So everybody who had their phones and could get to the instant access to the internet could have saw, wow, 60 different results. If she mentions the Illuminati over 106 times, the things, you know, secret societies over 60, then I'm going to use what he said. Because he said, well, if she doesn't talk about it, if she doesn't mention it, then we shouldn't pay attention to it. Well, she does mention it. So that means we should pay attention to it. It kills me and irks me when I hear a lot of Adventists say conspiracy theorists and all that, and you shouldn't pay. And I'm sitting here like, do you read Ellen? Have you read Ellen? You know, when Paul says the son of perdition, you know, we got to understand the Bible gave us format. The Bible told us what's going to happen. Ellen, who's just a lesser light, you know, a lesser light, she just went into detail. Look at some of the things she says concerning secret societies. Watch this. I'm gonna read some certain things that she said concerning the secret societies and Freemasonry, Jesuits, and so on. She says right here. She says, and this is found in Evangelism, the book Evangelism, page 617, starting at paragraph 4. She says, the perils of the secret societies, the Lord's injunction, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, refers not only to the marriage of Christians with the ungodly, but to all alliances in which the parties are brought into intimate association and in which there is need of harmony in spirit and action. The Lord declares through the prophet Isaiah, associate yourselves, O ye people, and ye shall be broken in pieces, and give ear, all ye of far countries. Gird yourselves, and ye shall be broken in counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand, for God is with us. For the Lord spake thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, say ye not, a confederacy. Oh yeah, my fault. And she also calls secret societies a confederacy. I'm sorry. A confederacy. To all them to whom this people shall say a confederacy, neither fear ye their fear, nor be afraid. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. There are those who question whether it is right for Christians to belong to the Freemasons and other secret societies. Let all such consider the scriptures just quoted. If we are Christians at all, we must be Christians everywhere and must consider and heed the counsel given to make us Christians according to the standard of God's word. Now, I read that just to show y'all just one little quick part where she mentions secret societies. But who did I say founded it all? Jesuits. That's where spiritual formation, this spiritual formation, the emergent church that's sweeping through Christianity, not only Adventism, it comes from the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius Loyola. He had steps where he used to communicate. He called himself communicating with God, but he was really communicating with demon. And it was borderline Eastern mysticism with, dealing with meditating. And he would sit off in his cave and he would meditate and say the same thing over and over and open up his mind. And who he thought was saints and God and Jesus coming to him was really the devil coming to him and talking to him, because he formed the Jesuit army. And these were ruthless. But anyway, let's see what Ellen says about Jesuits. And this is why I have to say this. why that evangelist still blows me away. But I'm not a respecter of persons. I judge every tree by its fruit, no matter who the person is, and no matter how much truth they bring, because the devil knows the Bible back and forth. The devil will bring 95% truth just so you can swallow that 5% cyanide. But anyway, this is one of the reasons why he didn't tell the whole congregation, this whole stadium, why don't y'all Google or put in the search engine Jesuits? Because they would have read something like this when dealing with the founders of the Illuminati, the evil behind the name, the true root of the issue. This is what she says about Jesuits, and this is why Ellen White is called false prophet, why Adventists are called pagans and things. This is why. Let me read you why. Throughout Christendom, Protestantism was menaced by formidable foes. The first triumphs of the Reformation passed. And I have to, before I continue, the Jesuits were formed to stamp out Protestantism during the Reformation. Let me continue. Okay. Rome. Okay. Before, and this was in this is in the Great Controversy, page 234. This is in the Great Controversy, page 234. Okay, anyway. Rome summoned new forces hoping to accomplish its destruction of Protestantism. At this time, the Order of the Jesuits was created, the most cruel, unscrupulous, and powerful of all the champions of popery, cut off from earthly ties and human interests, dead to the claims of natural affection, reason, and conscience, holy silence. They knew no rule, no tie but that of their order, and no duty but to extend the Catholic Church's power. The gospel of Christ had enabled its adherents to meet danger and endure suffering, undismayed by cold, hunger, toil, and poverty, to uphold the banner of truth in the face of the rack, the dungeon, and the stake. To combat these forces in Protestantism, Jesuitism inspired its followers with a fanaticism that enabled them to endure like dangers and to oppose to the power of truth all the weapons of deception. There was no crime too great for them to commit, no deception too base for them to practice, no disguise too difficult for them to assume. Vowed to perpetual poverty and humility, it was their studied aim to secure wealth and power, to be devoted to overthrow Protestantism and the re-establishment of the papal supremacy. When appearing as members of their order, they wore a garb of sanctity, visiting prisons and hospitals, ministering to the sick and the poor, professing to have renounced the world and bearing the sacred name of Jesus. They call themselves Jesuits, but bearing the sacred name of Jesus, who went about doing good, but under this blameless exterior, the most criminal and deadly purposes were often concealed. It was a fundamental principle of the order that the end justifies the means, basically meaning it doesn't matter whatever they have to do to reach a certain goal. The end, meaning the goal, justifies whatever they must do in between. By this code, lying, theft, perjury, assassination were not only pardonable but commendable. When they served the interests of the church under various disguises, the Jesuits worked their way into offices of state, climbing up to be the counselors of kings and shaping the policy of nations. They became servants to act as spies upon their masters. They established colleges, Georgetown University, a Jesuit Loyola University. Anyway, they established colleges for the sons of princes and nobles and schools for the common people, and the children of Protestant parents were drawn into an observance of popish rites. All the outward pomp and display of the Romish worship was brought to bear to confuse the mind and dazzle and captivate the imagination, and thus the liberty for which the fathers had toiled and bled was betrayed by the sons. The Jesuits rapidly spread themselves over Europe, and wherever they went, there followed a revival of popery. Could it be why so many Protestant churches gradually said, you know, we hail Rome as the authority of all the churches? You don't think that was really said? Oh, it was said. Billy Graham said it. Billy Graham said it. That was in the Great Controversy. Now, that new book, The Great Hope, that wasn't in there. That wasn't in there. All that was taken out. Can't tell me the Jesuits aren't high up already. Of course. They even declare who their enemy is. Like I've stated before, in Rome, Google Rome's Challenge. Rome's Challenge. It came out in 1890s. They said, you're either with Rome or you're an Adventist. And they resaid this back in 2003, I believe, on a Roman website. But you just read, we just talked about, this is why they want to push people away from Adventism, and definitely want to push people away from Ellen White. But did this evangelist, who is high up in our conference, I mean up there with our world conference president, he is like buddy with him because he is so famous and well known, and you know, did he tell the group to look up Jesuits? No. And you just see what Ellen, before when I read what she said about secret societies. Let's read some more. Like I said, over 106 times she mentions secret societies, Freemasons, and Jesuits, and Freemasonry. And he just says, put in the search engine, Illuminati. Anyway, let's get to it. I stated that many times. And this is when she's talking to Kellogg. I did not know John Kellogg, of course, her and her husband was the ones who sent him to medical school and helped him get everything started. You know, but I did not know he started to dabble in Freemasonry. But it's starting to make a lot of sense. It started to make a lot of sense because he ended up becoming an enemy of the church. You know, dealing in pantheism and things of that nature. But anyway, you know, as we like to call the alpha apostasy. But anyway, this is what she's talking to Kellogg. I found this blew me away. This is why he didn't tell her to look up Freemason. Matter of fact, what did I look up in this one? Freemasons. I typed in Freemasons and I'm reading the links and I come across this and I'm like, wow, what? Okay, anyway, she says, the influence you have, now she's talking to Kellogg. She says, the influence you have gained in the medical profession is large and broad, and in some respects it has been as God would have it. You have caused the light God has given you to shine forth to others, and this light has influenced others to labor in the different lines of the medical work. But according to the light the Lord has given me, something of the spirit of Freemasonry, she says, something of the spirit of Freemasonry exists and has built a wall about the work. The old regular practice has been exalted as the only true method of treatment of disease, and to a large degree this feeling has leavened the physicians connected with you. They have resorted to drugs in cases of fever to break it up, as they have thought. This method has broken up fevers and other diseases, but in some cases it has broken up the whole man with it. The Lord has been pleased to present this matter before me in clear lines. Fever cases need not to be treated with drugs. The most difficult cases are best and most successfully managed by nature's own resources. This science, fully adopted, will bring the best results if the practitioner will be thorough. The Lord will bless the physician who depends on natural methods. She said this in the 1800s, and they are really, millions of people are starting to open their eyes to this now. Can't tell me she wasn't blessed by the Lord. But anyway, did you see how she says, but according to the light the Lord has given me, something of the spirit of Freemasonry exists and has built a wall about the work. Talking about his work started hindering his work in healing people because he started to listen to his Freemasonry buddies and started to use drugs and go away from natural healing. I did not know that about Kellogg. But once you start to turn your back from the Lord, it does lead a slippery slope. It does start off on a slippery slope. But this one right here, what she says about secret societies, this is a must read right here, because she's talking about our day. I mean, specifically talking about Revelation, the book of Revelation, and the symbols involved in Revelation. Talking about the symbols involved in Revelation. We would know if we knew secret societies. This is why the evangelist didn't tell all these young people and all these thousands of people that was listening to him, holding on to every word he's saying. This is why he didn't say, put in the search engine secret societies, because they would come across links like this. Let's see what she says. See what else she says. She says, God has presented to me the dangers that are threatening those who have been giving the sacred work. Oh yeah, this can be found, what I'm about to read right here, in Manuscript Releases, Volume 14. Manuscript Releases, Volume 14, and it can also be found in the SDA Bible Commentary, Volume 7. But I'm reading from Manuscript Releases, Volume 14. Anyway, it says, God has presented to me the dangers that are threatening those who have been given the sacred work of proclaiming the third angel's message. Now, see, this is the dangers that it is that the people who are given the three angels' message are facing. So if we're facing some dangers, don't you think we need to know that? And that goes to all the Adventists who say you don't really need to know about secret societies. We don't? Anyway, let me finish reading. They are to remember that this message is of the utmost consequence to the whole world. They need to search the scriptures diligently that they may learn how to guard against the mystery of iniquity, which plays so large part in these closing scenes of Earth's history. There will be more and still more external parade by worldly powers under different symbols. So you telling me we don't need to know these symbols? Okay, finish reading, Josh. God presented to John the wicked character and seductive influence of those who have been distinguished for their persecution of his people. The 18th chapter of Revelation speaks of mystic Babylon falling from her high estate to become a persecuting power. Those who keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus are the object of the wrath of God. Now check this part out. John writes this terrible picture. Now this terrible picture drawn by John to show how completely the powers of earth will give themselves over to evil should show those who have received the truth how dangerous it is to link up with secret societies or to join themselves in any way with those who do not keep God's commandments. Religious powers allied to heaven by profession. These are religious powers. Now she says these secret societies are religious powers. Don't Freemasons claim to be Christian? It is blowing me away. And she said this back in 1800s. All right, finish reading, Josh. I heard somebody say finish reading. Okay. These religious powers allied to heaven by profession and claiming to have the characteristics of a lamb will show by their acts that they have the heart of a dragon and that they are instigated and controlled by Satan. The time is coming when God's people will feel the hand of persecution because they keep the holy seventh day. Satan has caused the change of the Sabbath in the hope of carrying out his purpose for the defeat of God's plan. He seeks to make the commands of God of less force in the world than human laws. I gotta read what she says about secret societies. She says John writes this terrible picture drawn by John to show how completely the powers of earth will give themselves over to evil should show those who have received the truth how dangerous it is to link up with secret societies or to join themselves in any way with those who do not keep God's commandments. These religious powers allied to heaven by profession and claiming to have the characteristics of the Lamb will show by their acts that they have the heart of a dragon. My beloved, it, 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 when I heard that evangelist say what he said, it tore me up. But I know, of course, we are being infiltrated, you know. And it doesn't surprise me what was said. It just surprised me who said it. And I know some of you are asking who said it. And if you really want to know, message me and I'll send it to you. But to just say, look up the word Illuminati as if Ellen White didn't say anything about secret societies or Freemasons or Jesuits. Even I know that the Jesuits started it all. They don't hide it. Google Adam Weishaupt. He was a Jesuit who, after they chased him out of Europe, I mean, Google what Abraham Lincoln and John Quincy Adams and others said about the Jesuits to these men who were alive when the Jesuits were kicked out of Europe. Google what Napoleon said about the Jesuits. You know, why you think he went to Rome? You know, he was put in power by the Jesuits. The Jesuits put Napoleon in power. Napoleon played them. They thought that, okay, Napoleon is going to be a good little boy, and when he gets in power, he's going to put all of us around him, and we're going to run the known world. The known world is Europe. We're going to run Europe and this new world we just found. We're going to run all this. But Napoleon use their wealth and their means to get in power, and then he turned on them. Oh yeah, that's why they hated Napoleon. That's why they got him exiled and all that, because he turned on them, went to Rome, took the Pope hostage, and that is in Revelation 13 when it says the beast was wounded. Napoleon was the one who gave him that wound. Took the Pope hostage, you know. I forget his general's name, the one who actually went in and did his orders. Batir? Nah, that's not the name. But anyway, regardless, that's why they put George Washington in charge in America, because they knew that they said, okay, this time we're going to make sure we don't have somebody who changes on us. So they put a high-ranking Jesuit in power in America to be our first president. That's why you see George Washington with this pose as Baphomet when he has one hand up and down like this. He's doing the exact pose as Baphomet, who the Freemasons. Wow. Let's do our homework. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge." Let's do our homework, y'all. And do not believe. Try every spirit. Just because they say they represent truth, do not just drink everything that they offer you. Try every spirit. Please, beloved, do not be deceived. Ellen White spoke of secret societies, Freemasons, Jesuits, and I'll use his own words. And if she said it, then I think it's important enough for us to read it and study. Did I hear the last thing I said that she read? She said, I'm going up to about their symbol. She said, in talking about Revelation, she says, they are to remember. Okay, that ain't it. Oh, she says, there will be more and still more external parade by worldly powers under different symbols. God presented to John the wicked character and seductive influence of those who have been Beloved, read, learn about these secret societies, because you hate to be paying homage to them or have their symbols in your home. You'd hate to be using their products, even though sometimes we can't even help to use some of their products. They pretty much, on everything. Where do you think they get their money from to back what they do? It's just we need to learn so we can educate others. you know. But when you hear any minister, Adventist, any denomination say, you don't really need to know about conspiracy theorists, all of that is just foolishness, Illuminati, nah. Beloved, any force that's being used by Satan to carry out his... Look, now I almost forgot one of the most important ones that I was gonna to read. I guess God did say, let's save it for last. Let's save it for last. Okay, which one was it? Secret societies. Here we go. Freemasons. Freemasons. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have had this one. Here it is. This almost blew me away, and I'm gonna end it with this one. This one. See how great God is. It can't. Here I was about to end it. Look, let me just read it first. I'm gonna read it first. Ellen White says, "This is why. Again, this is why he didn't tell those crowd of people to put secret societies in the search engine, which he should have, if he was really on God's side." It says, she says, and this is found in Testimonies for the Church, Volume 8, page 27, 28. She says, "The world is a theater. The actors, its inhabitants, are preparing to act their part in the last great drama. With the great masses of mankind, there is no unity except as men confederate to accomplish their selfish purposes. God is looking on. His purposes in regard to his rebellious subjects will be fulfilled. The world has not been given into the hands of men, though God is permitting the elements of confusion and disorder to bear sway for a season. A power from beneath," here we go, beloved, "a power from beneath is working to bring about the last great scenes in this drama." Now I gotta pause. If she's talking about the last great scenes in this drama, and she's about to describe the actors and the inhabitants who will bring forth this last great scene, I think it's important we know what's going on. But anyway, she says, the last great scenes in this drama, a power from beneath is working to bring about the last great scenes in this drama. Satan coming as Christ and working with all deceivableness of unrighteousness and those who are binding themselves together in secret societies. Let me say that again. Satan coming as Christ is working with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in those who are binding themselves together in secret societies, those who are yielding to the passion for confederation. Remember why she calls them a confederacy, are working out the plans of the enemy. The cause will be followed by the effect. So basically, she just said that the devil is using the secret societies to lay the way for his coming as the Antichrist. For his coming as Christ. We read it again. A power from beneath is working to bring about the last great scenes in the drama, Satan coming as Christ and working with all deceivableness and of unrighteousness in those who are binding themselves together in secret societies. He is going to use secret societies to lay the way and lay the foundation for him to come as Christ in our day and time. And like she says, this is the last great scenes in our earthly drama, in this spiritual war. This is the last great scenes. So you tell me, we don't need to know nothing about secret societies? We don't. Try every spirit, beloved. Study for yourself. Study all things, so you will be a workman who needeth not to be ashamed. So you will not be deceived. So you will be able to protect you and your household and your loved ones, and no telling who else you could reach and spread truth too. Have a blessed day.